Bobby, what's the best team for Bronny James?
Oh, I'm staring at pick 52 today. That is the Golden State Warriors. And I look at certainly the development they've been able to do with Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, a team that's trying to maximize the Steph Curry window. So it's Bronny James and Golden State.
Legs, what's the best fit for Klay Thompson?
Well, I'm going to say something that might not be based in reality because I don't know if they've got the money that it's going to take to get him, but I'd love to see Klay Thompson in Denver. I'm just looking at the system they run with player and ball movement, the IQ of that team, and Klay Thompson not having the burden to press and be great every single night, playing off of that two-man game with Jamal Murray and Jokic. I'd love to see that, but again, I don't know if they've got the money that it would take to get Klay Thompson to Denver.
CJ, give me the best fit for Paul George.
I think the Clippers are the best fit for PG. I love the way they've utilized him. Obviously, you have T. Lue, you have Ballmer, you have a new arena being opened next year. There's no way they go into next season without their big three. The way he scores the basketball is obviously to be admired. He has a video game-like mentality in terms of the dribble pull-ups, and he can defend. So I see him being a Clipper next season.
Yesterday, we sat with Wendy right here, and he said that there could be another California team that will take a shot at Paul George.
To this point, the Clippers have only been willing to offer Paul George about what they gave Kawhi Leonard, 3 years at a little bit less than the max contract. And Paul George, frankly, wants 4 years. He wants a full-out max. And there are a number of teams out there, I am told, that are prepared to give it to him, who are prepared to trade for him. One of those teams potentially is up the coast in Golden State.
Legs, should the Warriors pursue Paul George?
Absolutely. This is particularly since we don't know a lot of uncertainty around Klay Thompson. You lose Klay Thompson, you got to replace that shooting somewhere. Paul George is still an elite catch-and-shoot three-point guy playing in that system, but he's also a guy now that you can give the basketball to and run your offense through when Steph Curry's not on the floor. So, yes, it's a massive upgrade of talent. Right now, Golden State is trying to do whatever they can to still have a chance to be competitive and relevant in the West as long as you've got Steph Curry here entering the twilight years of his career, but still playing at an elite level. You've got to pair enough talent with him to give him a chance. It's your responsibility as an organization to do that. Paul George would represent that.
CJ, you play in the Western Conference now. Does Paul George make the Warriors a threat in the West?
Absolutely. Whenever you can get a player like Paul George on your roster, you become better right away. You're talking about a guy who in the last 5 seasons with the Clippers has averaged about 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 46 and 40% shooting from 3. A guy who can shoot off the dribble, he can create in the mid-range, he can finish around the basket, and he can go defend the other team's best player. Whenever you can find a player like that, you have to look into it, and I think that's what the Warriors are doing. They're big game hunting. They're trying to figure out ways to extend Steph Curry's championship window. He's still in his prime. I'll bet the end of the prime. This is a guy who makes a lot of different franchises better right away, which is why I believe a lot of teams are going to be after him on Saturday.
Bobby, from a front office perspective, you have to take emotion out of the equation. Are you prioritizing Klay Thompson or Paul George?
I'm prioritizing Paul George. I just look at it, you have one more big swing with Steph Curry on your roster, how you can try to upgrade this team right now. And I think when you look at it, Paul George certainly fits. Now it's a question of what's the cost, because Golden State cannot sign him outright. And what is Paul George walking into? And certainly the Clippers play a big role in that here. But for me, I think you do have to go in a different direction here, certainly based on where this Golden State team was last year.
Paul George makes them a title contender, Legs?
Yeah, I think they get into the mix in the West. I mean, look, there are a lot of teams in the West you've got to climb over if you're the Golden State Warriors to get there. And a lot of those teams are going to be just 1 year better, 1 year older. They're going to add talent as well. But there's no doubt, you add that talent level to play next to Steph Curry and the system, the coaching, that team would be back in the mix in a big-time way if you added Paul George. I think right now it's just tough because for Klay Thompson, this guy can still help good teams, and he can be someone that can be relevant on a team that's contending. I just don't know if it's going to be in Golden State. I think his role is something right now that he would probably struggle with. And I just thought last year something was not right with Klay Thompson. He was pressing so badly and squeezing the ball a little bit too tight. Maybe getting a change of environment could be a good thing for Klay Thompson, although maybe he envisioned playing his entire career next to Steph Curry, and that's how he wants to end it. A lot of questions in Golden State, but Paul George would be an upgrade in talent without question on the wing.
CJ, take me inside the player's mind. Paul George in Indiana going back and forth with LeBron. We saw him in OKC with the Clippers. He hasn't won a championship. Why should we believe that Paul George can push a team over the top?
I think it's about role and opportunity, but it's also about timing and injuries. I think time and time again, the Clippers have been close to winning a championship, and either Paul George or Kawhi Leonard has ended up getting injured in the playoffs. They have what it takes to win a championship. They just have to put all the pieces together and be healthy at the right time. But I think for PG, it's going to come down to what he wants most. Talked about it on his podcast, Podcast P. The fact that fit is important, culture is important, how he's utilized, and the roster that would be surrounding him in terms of the intricate pieces that you need to win a championship. I think for him, it's about figuring out, does he want to stay in LA? Does he want to play alongside Kawhi? Does he want to give it another go with T. Lue and the staff and hope that they're going to be healthy at the right time? Or does he want to explore other opportunities? But he has what it takes to help win a championship. They just need to be healthy at the right time. And I think that's the biggest thing for everybody is health, luck, and opportunity.
Whether it's the Los Angeles Clippers or the Golden State Warriors, the top of the West is so difficult. Both of those teams will have it cut out for them, whether they have Paul George or not. But time for some sneaky big news. The Lakers drafted Dalton Knecht out of Tennessee with the 17th overall pick. He averaged nearly 22 points a game last season. The Lakers had Knecht in the top 10 of their draft board. Here's Stephen A. Smith on LA's first-round pick.
JJ Redick, okay? That's what you want. You know how important you is. LeBron James is going to get you open shots. Anthony Davis kicks it out to somebody. He don't need bricklayers. They don't need construction workers. They need a shooter. This is Knecht. I love the name, by the way. Knecht, that's what he brings to the table. I think this is the pick you were supposed to get. Way to go, Lakers.
I mean, we only saw him that happy when he was talking about Mikal Bridges to the Knicks. Legs, why should the Lakers be excited about this pick?
Love it. And it's funny, when they showed the draft room prior to announcing this pick, and I saw how excited they were, particularly J.J. Redick, I knew exactly who they were about to pick. Because here's the thing. They need shooting. They need somebody who can step in now. They don't have time to develop a 19-year-old when you've got LeBron James for a couple more years and you're still trying to win a championship with LeBron and AD. You need a guy that you can plug and play immediately. And nobody is more NBA ready in this draft than Dalton Knecht. So he's 23, and it's funny, that worked against him, and that is why he slid down. Here's the other thing. Playing for J.J. Redick, who is going to maximize more? What Dalton Knecht can do off the ball and understanding and reading how to set your man up, come off screens, how to play without the basketball, than J.J. Redick. He did it his entire career. So Dalton Knecht couldn't have ended up in a better spot. The Lakers, I don't think, could have gotten a better pick at that spot. And I think Philadelphia, who picked one spot earlier, may be regretting this when you look at this pick, maybe halfway through the season or certainly a couple years down the road.
Bobby, how do you view this pick?
Oh, I love it. And when I talked to Dalton in May, I asked him the one question, why did he go to Tennessee? Certainly he bounced around junior college, and it wasn't to go score the ball or shoot the ball better. It was to learn how to play defense better here under Rick Barnes here. And I look at it similar to last year. Miami drafts Jaime Jaquez, Golden State drafts Brandon Podzinski in the teens. Both guys make all rookie. Here's a guy that's 23 years old, and I think when you look at it, that was held against him here. And I think he can come in and play right now for the Lakers.
CJ, after this ad in the draft, what else do the Lakers need?
I think right now it's about figuring out their staff situation, right? Providing J.J. Redick with the proper help. A former head coach would be great. Former players on his staff to kind of help from a player development standpoint. I think those are things that they're going to look to kind of tighten up. But as Legs kind of talked about earlier, you need space, you need pace, and you need guys that can shoot the ball at a high level and not necessarily need the ball in their hands. LeBron has historically had great usage and kind of controlled the pace, controlled the paint. You have AD, you've talked about playing through him. If you're going to play through AD, he's going to create double teams because he's unstoppable one-on-one. So you're going to have shooters, spacers, and defenders out there on the court to kind of make the game easier for everybody else. And with J.J. Redick, we know the three-point shot is a huge emphasis for him and something that he's going to preach because he believes in math.
I think you can already see J.J. Redick's hand in the L.A. Lakers drafting by this first pick, and I believe this is going to be huge to complement AD and LeBron. But the NBA draft continues this afternoon, and we will see if Bronny James will go. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern on ESPN from our Seaport District Studios in New York.